How did Cowboy Monty enter the inauguration and lasso President Eisenhower? Keep watching.
Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to InfoHunters. My name is Maroop and I'm here to hunt down all the cool info that's out there for you. With the 2021 US Presidential Inauguration Day looming in the horizon, all sorts of speculations are floating in the air. So to find out this year's possibilities, let's go back in time and try to find out the most strangest things that happened in the previous presidential inaugurations.
Number 1. Record durations for inaugural speech. The first president of the United States of America, George Washington, set a very hard-to-break record of inauguration speech length. His inaugural speech in 1789 contained only 135 words, a record that none of his successors have been able to break. The whole speech could be sent with 2 tweets in modern time. How we wish the 45th President Donald Trump would have followed this good trend. There is actually no limit on the length of a presidential inaugural speech. The 9th President of the USA, William Henry Harrison, took it to the other extreme. Harrison's inaugural speech in 1841 had almost 8,500 words and took almost 2 hours to be delivered.
2 hours later...
Unfortunately, he delivered it during snowfall and refused to wear an overcoat. A month after the inauguration ceremony, Harrison died of pneumonia. If only he had followed the example of George Washington, perhaps he would not be the first president to die in office. Number 2. Presidential inauguration date. Imagine that the post-US elections drama goes on until the 4th of March. How do you think the world may look like in these upcoming months? Now you may ask why. To understand that, we have to go back 200 years. Since the 18th century and up to a better part of the 20th century, the inauguration took place on 4th of March, which is roughly more than 4 months after the election has taken place. Seems too long, right? But this date was fixated by the US Constitution, as it used to take a lot of time to count all the votes and declare the results. No computers were available, neither they had any internet. However, in modern times after 1937, this date was constitutionally changed to 20th of January and was brought closer to the beginning of new Congress. Looking at current world order, we are indeed lucky that it happened. Guys, if you like our videos, then please give us a thumbs up and share our videos. Please consider subscribing to our channel and do not forget to hit the bell button. You can also choose to follow us on our social platforms, for which the links are given below. Number 3. Enters the cowboy. No two presidential elections are the same. Although there are several age-old traditions surrounding the presidential inauguration ceremony, only few of them are actually mandated by the US Constitution. That gives a lot of opportunities to the president-elect to add personal touches to the ceremony. Throughout the history, several presidents have moved the age-old traditions aside and introduced new trends. But none of this was probably more crazy than that of the 34th President of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower. During his inaugural ceremony in 1953, a rodeo rider named Monty Montana rode through the inauguration parade on a horseback, approached the stage, and lassoed the newly sworn president in front of the cheering crowd. Now, why such a stunt was arranged, you ask? Because at that time, America was completely infatuated with cowboys, so the president could not resist the temptation of scoring some political popularity points during his inauguration ceremony.
Let's see if Joe Biden can beat it in his 2021 inauguration.
Number 4. House Party from Hell.
Do you know which president of the United States has thrown the most badass party of all time? The title should definitely go to the 7th president of the United States, Mr. Andrew Jackson. After Andrew Jackson's inauguration in 1829, the 7th president threw an epic party at the White House. Jackson was notorious for his frontier style, man of the people mystique, and he attracted a similarly rough crowd. Lo and behold, more than 20,000 people showed up partying at the White House. Now, who can blame them? Anybody would jump on the opportunity to party at the White House, right? Anyway, as the party went on, things got a bit out of control. Carpets were ruined with mud from shoes. Furniture and fine chinas were broken. Curtains were down. To get them to leave the building, the staff left a tub of whiskey on the front lawn, and slowly the crowd left the building. House Party from Hell. What could be a more suitable name for such an occasion?
Number 5. President for a Day.
Do you know who David Rice Atchison is? Most probably you don't. He was known as the guy who was the President of the United States for a single day. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, then wait for more twists. His claim as the President for a single day actually had no legal base. Now, that's what we call
Fake news.
So what happened actually? In 1849, the inauguration day, 4th of March, fell on a Sunday, and for the reason of religious beliefs, the President-elect Taylor did not take presidential oath until the 5th of March. Meanwhile, the outgoing President, James Polk, ended his term at noon on 4th of March, and so did the outgoing Vice President Dallas on March the 2nd. Now here comes Mr. Atchison in the picture, as he was chosen as the President pro tempore by Congress, who followed the Vice President in the presidential line of succession. As there was no President or Vice President after 4th of March noon, it was claimed by some of Atchison's friends that on March 4 to 5, 1849, Atchison was acting President of the United States. However, the law scholars later debunked the claim due to some legal technicalities.
Number 6. President's Flying Oath.
All the US presidents were not lucky enough to have a grand inauguration ceremony. There is a special category of inauguration termed non-scheduled extraordinary inauguration. One such extraordinary inauguration took place on Friday, November 22, 1963. Following the assassination of then-President John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson was the serving US Vice President at that time. While aboard the Air Force One at Love Field, Dallas, he took the presidential oath of office and became the 36th President of the United States. Such circumstances, although rare, but are not unprecedented. For example, Johnson's inauguration was 8th of such extraordinary inaugurations in US history. But this was the first and the only time until now where a US President took his oath on board an aeroplane.
Last but not the least, number 7. Taking the ride with your ex. Usually, the inauguration ceremonies are a cordial event between the outgoing and the incoming president. But this tradition is also not without exceptions. Sometimes bitter rivalry, especially during the election campaign, results in the two contenders resenting each other. The first recorded event of such bitterness was during the election of 1801 between the second and the third US presidents, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Although they used to be friends at a young age, yet the rivalry reached such an extreme point that Adams refused to attend Jefferson's inauguration, the first time a US president did so. However, since 1837, most of the presidents and president-elects have continued the tradition of traveling together to the inauguration ceremony in the Capitol.
Shall we see a repetition of this tradition in the upcoming 2021 inauguration? Will Trump share the same ride with Biden? Do you think Trump will even attend President Biden's ceremony? Please let us know your opinion in the comments below.
Maruf, it's getting dark outside. Could you please check what time it is?
Oh, I almost forgot. It's time to celebrate the next US presidency. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Next week, we'll be back with something amazing, something different, or something strange. Until then, stay curious and keep hunting.